Hey guys, what's up? I'm back for more Zero Time Dilemma. Today is Thursday, July 24th, 2016, 7:26 p.m. Recorded it like an hour earlier today, and I'm here to make some more progress. I think I might be able to finish this game today. I'm not entirely sure. But before I start playing, what's the next thing I have to do? I forgot. I remembered earlier today. Oh, right. Force quit boxes. Okay, so before I do that, I want to go... Where is it? Do I have to... Can I not access the menu right now? Really? That's kind of stupid. Switch. Okay, so I guess I can't access the menu from here. What I'm going to do anyway is go through all the files that I have, and I haven't read any of them. When I played through Virtue's Last Reward, what I would do is just like read through them as I would unlock them. As I would get gold files, I would just read through all of it, and then I would continue playing. But I didn't want to break up like gameplay so much. Like I didn't want to include like at the beginning of every video or the end of every video just a segment of me just reading stuff. So I'm gonna do that in just a second, but before I do that, I explained this a little bit in the comments of part 25, but what made me so confused about it, like what was the cause of all my confusion at the end of part 25, essentially was just that Zero said that he had a younger sister, and that immediately sounded to me like Carlos or Aoi. I wouldn't have thought that Delta would have described Phi as his younger sister since they're twins. Technically, Delta was born like seconds before Phi, but I'm not sure how Delta knew that since he didn't grow up with his parents to tell him that, and pretty much all of it should have been known about Delta. Well, like, whoever picked up Delta and Phi, all that they should have known were their names and the fact that they were twins. So I'm not sure how Delta knew that he was born before Phi, but apparently he does. So that's all. That's mostly what had me confused. And I was also kind of distracted as I was recording that. I mentioned at one point that I was getting some texts. This is kind of a long story, so I'm going to just give you guys a really short version of it. I don't really want to get into this. Basically, I haven't talked to my dad in like the past 2 years. I don't have like any kind of relationship with him at all. And he texted me yesterday saying that he was going to be, or not yesterday, on whenever I was recording part 25 of this LP, texted me saying that he would be down here to pick up something that I'd gotten in the mail for him recently. So I was just like, there's a lot of shit going on right there, but I don't want to get into it really. Whatever. Anyway, okay. So I need to get to the files. I guess what I could do, I'm just gonna like get to, let me just do it like right here. And I'll just skip this.
Who would do?
And let's just do this right here. Where is it? File. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, this is a lot of... Wait, no, this is all... Okay, this is not important stuff. This is just, like, items that you pick up, like, in the rooms. This is gonna be a lot of reading. Okay, so, this might just be its own episode, I'm not sure. But let's just... A robot's name... The robot with a round helmet on his head is named Sean. He has never been called anything other than that by those in the underground shelter. I think somebody left a comment specifically saying that his name wasn't Sean, which sounds like that sounds true, since I tried entering Sean into that thing where it told me to enter Q's name. And it kept on telling me that I was wrong. but I'm reading this. This seems pretty clear. The boy with the round helmet on his head is named Sean. That's pretty clear. So I don't know what's going on there. Post-Apocalypse 1. This must be fate. Fate? Diana smiles weakly from the bed at Sigma's question. Don't you remember? Wait a minute. This must be fate. Fate. Diana smiles weakly from the bed at Sigma's question. Don't you remember? You told me that yourself. Me? I never said it. If it really was me, then... Yes, the Sigma who was 67 inside. Diana shifts her frail hand closer to Sigma, and he gently grasps it between his own. What? Wait a minute. The Sigma who was 67 inside. The Sigma before her is not the one who was trapped in the shelter. It's the same body, but a different consciousness. On April 13, 2029, Sigma was at the headquarters of Crash Keys, his eye and arms replaced with robotic ones. What? There, the young Sigma returns to his body from 45 years in the future and begins to carry out Akane's instructions. What's going on here? Post-apocalypse. This must be fate. Fate. You told me that yourself. If it really was me, then... Who was 67 and... Oh, is this... Oh, okay. She's talking to the young Sigma consciousness. Again, I think. I'm not sure. The Sigma 4 is not the one who was trapped in the... not the one who was trapped in the shelter. It's the same body, but a different consciousness. The headquarters of Crash Keys. Young Sigma returns to his body from 45 years in the future. How many years has it been since you came here, Diana? A little over 3, I think. I followed you here in May 2029. What? Diana. Trash with robotic ones. The young Sigma consciousness returns to his body from 45 years in the future and begins to carry out Akane's wishes. How many years has it been since you came here, Diana? Here being the headquarters of Crash Keys? A little over 3, I think. I followed you here in May 2029. A violent coughing fit takes over after she speaks. Sigma helps her sit up and softly pats her back until it subsides. Why didn't the medical pod work? I told you, it's fate. Diana's skin is deathly pale, but her eyes still shine with life, just like a child. So this is when Diana is about to die, and I think she's on I think they're actually both on Rhizome 9. Because I think Sigma said that she died on Rhizome 9 due to the weak gravity or something. Okay. I'm not sure about this fate stuff. I'm not sure when that was said, but okay then. I've always dreamt of coming here. Did you know that Diana is the name of the goddess of the moon? I've wanted to do this ever since I was little, so I'm perfectly fine with dying here. What are you saying? I've been able to spend the last 3 years living with you, Sigma. I have treasured every moment. Sigma lowers his head, his expression pained. Please don't make that face. You don't need to be sad. In the year 2074, you will shift back to Christmas of 2028, and the next day, old me will head to Dcom, to the Dcom facility in the Nevada desert and meet you. Diana nods. Sigma closes his eyes and shakes his head. That's not it. I mean, I'm in love with the you. His declaration stops as Diana's lips close over his in a kiss, and the rest of his words are lost. After a moment, Diana murmurs, "It must be a wonderful future, the future where we found each other in 2028. The future where we found each other in 2028. Aren't they like in 2031 or something right now? 3 years after Yeah, you will shift back to Christmas of 2028. The future where we found each other in 2028. Yeah, she should be saying... She should be calling that the past. That's a little confusing. Sigma holds onto her tightly. Aching, heartfelt sobs echo within a cold, silent world. Okay, so this explains why Sigma... Why in the ending with Sigma and Diana, that Sigma didn't immediately, like, have, like, affection for Diana, because... that's not it. I mean, I'm in love with the you, the her, the future Diana, not the Diana 3 years in the past, even though it's the same person, I guess. Okay, so that explains that. Gabletter. Oh my god. You know what? Let me try doing this. What kind of... How is this ordered? Obtained, room, obtained. I think... Okay, I think this... Wait, Gabletter 2 and then Gabletter 1? What? I think if I were to do it from the bottom up, then I'll be reading these in the order that I, like, got them in. Decision game rules. Okay, the X door in the lounge is your only means to escape. The X door in the lounge. Okay, somebody else mentioned in the comments that Zero called it the X door, not the X doors. Why I assumed that that wasn't a problem was that I kind of thought that the X door was more like some kind of a barricade, more like of a barricade than a door that was just kind of planted in the middle of the 3 lounges, or of the 3 wards. The X door can only open once and is accessible for 30 seconds. After that, you're out of luck. 6 X passes must be inputted for the X door to open. Every death reveals a single X pass. That means 6 people must die for the X door to open. Active times for all teams max out at 90 minutes. Max out at 90 minutes, so they can be less. Once that time expires, your bracelet injects you with memory loss and sleeping drugs. You will fall into a deep sleep and forget everything that happened in the previous 90 minutes. Okay. Ward D. Okay. Why is the trash disposal room darkened? Gabletter 2. Hi, Carlos here. C team is voting for D team. Okay, Ward C. Gabletter 1. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So this is just Q team, like, confirming it. Ward Q. Okay. Shift. The phenomenon which allows a person to send their consciousness to other universes and histories. It is an acronym for space-time human internal fluctuating transfer. Space-time human. I'm sure if I were to really analyze this acronym, it probably wouldn't make a ton of sense. Like, it's probably named this just so that the acronym SHIFT works. As usually how stuff like this is. Space-time human internal fluctuating transfer. Okay, yeah, that's a little vague, but okay. Free the Soul, a cult organization that desires to save mankind by creating their ideal new world. The head of this group is a mysterious figure called Brother. Hydrofluoric acid. It is an aqueous solution of hydrogen fluoride. This acid is a contact poison that is highly corrosive. Leucochloridium, I think is how that's pronounced. A parasite that uses snails as initial hosts and then transfers to birds. The egg originates in the digestive tract of a snail and then migrates to the tentacles. Snails have tentacles? Okay. The leucochloridium causes the tentacle to take on the appearance of a worm or caterpillar, which draws the attention of birds. Once eaten by a bird, the parasite will lay an egg that leaves the body with the feces. Once eaten by a bird, the parasite will lay an egg that leaves the body with the feces, which then becomes food for the snails and the cycle continues. What if the snail mentioned in Zero's story had a Leucochloridium inside? Had a Leucochloridium inside. Parasite uses snail as the initial host and transfers this attractive snail and then migrates, causes a tentacle to take on the appearance of a worm. It doesn't really sound, from this explanation here, it doesn't really sound like the parasite is like controlling the mind of the snail or something. It looks like it just kind of causes the tentacle of a snail to take on the appearance of a worm or caterpillar. So this could all be some kind of a parasite, I guess. I'm not sure what that's trying to imply. Like I can't see how that parasite would be like really highly intelligent to like plan a significant amount of this stuff. An interesting thought, I suppose. Spinochorododes something, also known as the hairworm. It is thin and long. The larvae are hatched in aquatic environments and then consumed by water insects, which are then eaten by land-based bugs like crickets and praying mantises. Once the parasite reaches adulthood, it can control its host, leading it to water to drown it. What? The parasite then escapes the host and returns to the water where it reproduces. The larvae are eaten by water insects and the cycle repeats. So they're just little like murderers then, for no reason. Like, that's crazy. Toxoplasma gondii. A single cell organism with a width of about 2 to 3 micrometers and a length of about 4 to 7 micrometers. One of the most common parasites, its definitive host is the cat. An infected rat loses its fear of cats, making it more susceptible to be preyed upon by its predator. Okay. Definitive host is the cat. An infected rat. So somehow this parasite, like, which lives on cats, can leave the cat and infect rats and make rats like run up and try to beat up cats, I guess. Basically Tom and Jerry. Dcom's management. Dcom is not a government-run facility, but is privately owned by a company researching space development. The company is largely owned by Free the Soul, but that detail is kept hidden from all knowledge. Okay, so it's kind of like Cradle Pharmaceutical. Metempsychosis. If metempsychosis really exists, what metempsychosis? Metem, I don't know what that prefix means. What are the chances you are an intelligent life form in your next life as opposed to everything else? What is that like? Like you can come back after death as something else, I guess. Taking a number of things into account, everything else has a much greater chance. But if you were reborn as a duck, frog, or even a paramecium, there would be no way you'd be able to know and recognize your own existence. And in fact, it's not any different from being a sponge or a rock. That being said, rocks and sponges don't have wills of their own, aside from a few notable exceptions. So you wouldn't care about your next life. Why would you? Okay. That's an obvious point. An example. You're in a totally dark room with a die in front of you. If you roll a 1, the light turns on, but any other number keeps the light off. You can roll it as many times as you wish. So what will the dice number be when you see it? 1, of course, because you can't see any other result. Another example. Why does this is such a simple point? Like, I don't see why this needs so many examples. The whole world and everything on it stops in the next second. Exactly a minute later, disregarding who would be the one timing this, it all starts up again. No one will even notice that time stopped. In other words, there's no point to considering that 1 minute, as you can't say that it even existed. It's the same as being reborn as a duck, frog, or yellow sponge. The die in the dark and the halted world. There are scholars who claim that if metempsychosis is absolutely true, you're guaranteed to be reborn as an intelligent life form. It's possible... Someone's yelling in the house next to me. It's possible that this is a result of the observable selection effect, an aspect of the anthropic principle. Yeah, so that whole, I think it was the anthropic, yeah, the whole anthropic principle, it seems just like really obvious. Like, I don't think it needs all this explanation. Anywho, Crash Keys, a secret organization created by Akane Kurashiki. Oh, I didn't know she created it. Their ultimate goal is to create a better future. Akane's brother Aoi is second in command and is assisting her from outside. Akane's brother Aoi is second in command and is assisting her from outside. Is this kind of written like with zero time dilemma in mind? Is assisting her from outside? So is Aoi assisting Akane from outside right now as zero time dilemma is going on? That seems to be what this is implying. Assisting her from what? In what way? How? I don't. Or maybe he is. You see that it's written is assisting her implies that it's actively happening as this game is going on, which is very strange to me. I don't see how he could be assisting her since I don't think they have any contact with the outside world. I don't know. Monty Hall problem, a probability puzzle based off of a TV game show hosted by Monty Hall that is strongly divisive among scholars. The problem is as follows: 3 doors. Okay, so I do understand this now. At the time where I went over this stuff, I didn't get this, but I'll read through this. 3 doors are before you. One hides a prize behind it, while the other 2 hide goats. The door with the prize is random and only known by Monty. Monty asks which one of the 3 doors will you open. You then pick a door, but it remains closed. One of the 2 remaining doors is opened, revealing a goat. It's possible that both doors contain a goat, and you pick the door with the prize. Okay. But then Monty asks, now there are only 2 closed doors. Which one will you choose? Will you change your mind or stay with your first choice? How should you answer? So you should pick the one that remains closed that you didn't. You should change your answer. You'd think there's no way to know which is right, but the chances are 2 to 1. The probability for either door is the same. However, the question will be answered in the game. The gas mask location is completely random, therefore using probability to choose the correct locker may still result in getting the wrong one simply because of bad luck. Somebody explained the Monty Hall problem, and I kind of reiterated it in the comment in a previous video. I don't remember which video it was, but it's kind of complicated-ish. But basically, in the Monty Hall problem, if you think back to the episode with all the lockers and the gas mask, what you should always do is change your answer. That's always the best thing to do. 6 billion Radical 6 deaths. Technically, Radical 6 did not kill 6 billion people. The spreading of the virus caused chaos and panic around the world, promoting the explosion of several nuclear reactors. It is these explosions which lead to the 6 billion deaths. Okay. Incinerator. Incinerators are required to reach temperatures of at least 1560 degrees Fahrenheit or 850 degrees Celsius for 2 seconds to ensure proper material breakdown. Human cremation occurs at 1400 to 2100 Fahrenheit or 760 to 1150 Celsius. Okay. That's not important, but okay. Gabletter 3. These are the antidote. Please drink them, Akane. Stabat Mater Dolorosa. From a Latin hymn, it roughly translates to the sorrowful mother stood. The sorrowful mother stood. That's got to mean Diana. The sorrowful mother stood. I'm not sure why she's standing and why that's important. Language center. The popularly held belief is that our language center resides in the left side of the brain, but recent research has revealed that this side differs among individuals. Roughly 30 to 50% of those with their language center in the right hemisphere end up left-handed. 30-50% of those with the right hemisphere end up left-handed, while only a small percentage are right-handed. What? Wait a minute. 30-50% of those with language center in the right hemisphere end up left-handed, while only a small percentage are right-handed. Does that mean everybody else is ambidextrous? The side containing the language center is called the major hemisphere. Wait a minute. Roughly 30 to 50% of those with their language center in the right hemisphere end up left-handed, while only a small percentage are right-handed. But looking at the numbers, it would seem like the percentage that would be right-handed would be the percentage that aren't left-handed plus the percentage that are ambidextrous, which would probably be like 50%. That's a strangely worded sentence there. While only a small percentage are right-handed. Okay. Alright then. Antidote hint. Carlos. Oh, this is just the what was it again? Oh, right. I think it was G. Nucleus. The central component for the transporter. That looks like a pineapple. Input pod. The object to be transported is placed within the input pod, which then reads its composition. That data is then sent through some space-time to the nucleus. Okay. Output pod. Data from the nucleus is sent to the output pod, where it is read. The object is then recreated inside. Material tank. The tank contains the material used for transportation. A selection of the elements which include oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, sulfur. A lot of things. A lot of things. I guess all of the things that make up a human being, or that can make up a lot of different types of matter. Okay. Reverie Syndrome, also known as the daydream syndrome. The brain cannot handle the amount of information entering the brain and, in effect, shuts down. The cause of this syndrome is currently unknown. This sounds a lot like Radical 6. Daydream syndrome. Yeah, this sounds a lot like Radical 6. Is this just like the official name for that aspect of Radical 6, maybe? I am not sure. 2 to the power of 100. What? Why do we need to know this? Latin phrase 2. Mors certa hora incerta. It translates to death is certain, its hour is uncertain. Okay. Multiverse and the single path one. Oh my god. How many of these are there? Okay. So this one I'm very interested in. Oh my god. Okay. Video game structure can alright, guys, pay attention to this, because this is gonna be this is amazing. And what is this? I got another text again. Oh, just a YouTube comment. Video game structure can help explain. Protagonist P travels down a road until he reaches a three-way fork. You, the player, choose the left path, and P ends up abducted by terrorists and holed up in an underground cell forever. You try a second time by selecting the right path. You avoid the terrorists, but P is hit by a truck and permanently handicapped. Getting annoyed, you sigh and go back to choose the last route straight down the middle. P comes across a man attacking a girl from an affluent family. And fights him off. The girl and P fall in love, get married, and live together happily. By this point, the game is mostly over. It is this ending that is considered the best end. But is it really? Taking the multiverse theory, oh Jesus Christ, taking the multiverse theory into consideration, the P who chose the left path, LP, must think, why am I not the P who chose the center path, CP, and instead stuck in this cell? But if there is only one world, then LP's history disappears once P chooses the center path. Okay. Some of you may be thinking, then why isn't it just a straight road? But it's not that simple. What about what happens with the P who picked the right path, RP? He gets into an accident, but after extensive rehab, wins a gold medal at the Paralympics. He marries a beautiful wife, has several children, and by the time he's old, there are many grandchildren. Okay, so this is just getting into the ethics of, basically the ethical problem with creating a time travel a time travel story that does not include a multiverse. So consider again, if the world is one single path, what about RP's life? Where did his glory go? What about his happiness with his family? The only one who remains is CP with his rich wife. If the only one who remains is CP with his rich wife, is that a true happy end? Okay, so this is basically explaining why you need a multiverse in order to basically it's just saying that, like, if you're gonna like create a story, a game, a video game, or a story really, with time travel where you can go back and change the past and give people different lives, essentially different futures, it's unethical to erase futures because as in RP's future, he marries a beautiful wife, has several children, and by the time he's old, there are many grandchildren. Okay, so yeah, and the person who chose the right path, and the version of the player who chose the right path, it would be wrong to erase that existence, obviously, because he lives a good life afterwards. Not so much, I would argue that probably even it would be wrong to erase the existence of the left path, LP. I would argue that too, because it's just kind of wrong to erase existence in general, but it's less tragic because he's holed up in a terrorist cell his entire life. So that's the whole point that this is making, I think, basically. Gabletter 4, search the family portrait. Okay. So anyway, getting back to this though, yeah, just to quickly go over this point again, very quickly. I don't want to fucking rant the way I did at the end of that one video. Yeah, it's the reason why I wanted to not include a multiverse in my game was because I wanted people to have to make that hard choice of, like, okay, let me put it in terms of Zero Time Dilemma. If Zero Time Dilemma had only a single future, if there were no multiverse somehow, would it be ethical to go back to the past and stop the spread of Radical 6? All the time, everything that happens afterwards, Tenmyoji meeting Quark, all of that would get erased. Would it be right to go back and save all of those lives, but essentially throw out all of those experiences and all of those relationships and everything like that? I would say, yeah. I would say if you're gonna like measure it out, like I would say, yeah, saving 6 billion lives is probably the greater good, I guess. But still, would suck for a Quark and Tenmyoji. That'd be sad for them. Latin phrase 3. Plaudite acta est fabula. A familiar line from Virtue's Last Reward. It translates to applaud, the play is over. Fabula? Over? That's what over means? Okay. I don't remember that from Virtue's Last Reward, but okay. Decine fata deum flecti sperare precando. From the Aeneid, it roughly translates to fate, and the dooming gods are deaf to tears. I have a very quickly, I want to give my thought on like all these Latin phrases. Latin is a dead language. I don't think there's any like reason to study Latin these days. Linguists might disagree with me, but I don't think it's like particularly useful. And I'm not really like I don't look like at a Latin phrase and think, oh my god, that's deep, it's in Latin, that's a dead language, it's like so romantic, and like I just think it's like kind of dumb. Like, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of like Latin. I don't really get caught up in the whole like romanticism of it being a dead language. Quantum computer. Computers function by storing data as ones and zeros in a binary number format. Quantum computers store data as ones, zeros, and a superposition of both. and a superposition of both. This allows them to run multiple computations simultaneously by performing them not only in our universe, but other universes as well. Quantum computers store data as ones, zeros, and a superposition of both. So ones, like one superscript 1, 1 superscript 2, and 0 superscript 1 and 0. I think that's what that means. Okay, I don't know if quantum computers like even exist like in real life yet. I have no idea. Active time. What the oh. Wait. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, so they are just taking turns basically. So this is their actual active time, I think. I also don't really... I'm not a fan of the fact that the time was misleading. I don't like that. I don't like it when characters are misled purposefully like that. Okay. Like, I don't like the idea that Zero essentially would lie to the decision game players for the same reason that I don't like the inclusion of alien technology. I think it's kind of cheap. You have to be able to, like in 999, Zero never lied. He never said a lie. You had to like pay really close attention to how Zero said things, but he never actually lied. I don't like it when the person who's controlling everything lies to the people that are being controlled, because it doesn't really give them any chance to like guess or any chance to like solve things on their own. Where the air ducts go. Wards C, Q, and D being in the same space means the air ducts in the prep room and lounge don't lead to the other wards. Inside is simply a small space for Gab where he often rests on a rug. What? Dang, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that. That's pretty crazy. Stupid Gab. You've been lying to us this whole time. The murder 17 years ago. 17 years ago, a young mother went jogging in the park. She reached a fork where she usually goes right, but on this day she decided to go left. Why? Because there was a snail on the path. No one knows why she avoided the snail. Was she afraid of them or felt a sense of danger from it? Whatever the case may be, the snail caused her to switch to the left path. As a result, she was killed by a girl. Mira. The suspect who was taken in custody, a Japanese man, Akane's father, was not the culprit. He was falsely convicted and executed, and his wife, Akane's mother, committed suicide in her grief. The two left young children behind, Akane and Aoi. The convicted man called a taxi before his arrest, but the taxi ended up picking up another fare instead, a brilliant surgeon. However, the car became involved in an accident, killing the surgeon as well as the young boy who was waiting for an operation by the surgeon. Q, I'm assuming, or Sean. If that snail hadn't been on the right path 17 years ago, what would have happened? Life is simply unfair, don't you think? Okay, so this explains Zero's whole motivation for everything, I think. Or maybe not. I don't know if he's trying to prevent this. Yeah, probably not. I don't see how he would be trying... Yeah, he's not trying to prevent this. He's trying to, like, kill the person who, Actually, wait a minute. What did Brothers say about what he was trying... He said there was a 75% chance, because he's allowing 6 billion people to die, that the person responsible... I think he's talking about Mira, who killed the woman jogging. So it sounds like his goal really is to just kill Mira. I think I would have to rewatch that cutscene. I don't remember exactly what Zero said. Like, who was it exactly that he wanted to kill? Who was it that he has a 75% chance of killing? I forgot who that person was exactly, but I think it was the person who killed the woman jogging in the park. I think that would make the most sense. But that's kind of strange, because that's actually Mira, who is in Dcom. I don't know if he knows that or not, but... I don't know. I'm assuming he knows that. Gabletter 5 anagram, post-apocalypse 1. Okay, I've read this stuff. Okay. Okay, so I've read all of this stuff already. So the reason I wanted to put this off as much as I possibly could was so that I could allow all this stuff to accumulate so I could read it all at once. And now I don't have a ton to read at the very end of the game when I unlock all of this stuff. How long did all of that take me? That took me about 40 minutes. Okay. You know what? I think I'm just going to make that its own episode. That's a good length for an episode. Okay, so I'm going to just cut the recording here, and I'm going to start up another one right away. So I'll be right back.